Okay. Well, Kruthi, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto? And then we'll get started on our assignments for today.
But can I share something really quickly before?
Yes.
Yesterday, we went to Dollar Tree, and I found this pen. And this morning when I opened it up, it says like on the back you can like control the iPad.
Yeah, like a stylus. Oh yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, and it also works as a pen, so it's like both.
Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm.
And today is my mom's birthday, and so we told her that we would she gets a relaxed day, and she can do whatever she wants, but she can't do any work. And so she's probably watching TV right now, and so we have to like take care of the house for 2 days.
Oh, that is such a great present for you to do. I bet that's better than any present you can buy, just to give her a day off so that she can just relax. No cleaning up after you guys.
Yeah,
That's really sweet of you.
A card, and I wrote it down on it, and then it just said, congratulations, you have a 2-day relax day.
Mm-hmm. Like a little vacation, but just at home. Very sweet. Okay, well, let's start on the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto. Good to see you both, Dikshita and Emma. No, you just joined. Okay, let's say our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag to the United States of America and to the republics for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement.
Thank you, Kruthi. Boys and girls, would you please join me for a moment of silence? Okay, boys and girls, so take out your whiteboard and marker so that we can get started on some phonogram and spelling review today. Mrs. Campbell is sick today, so her students are watching right now. Hi, Mrs. Campbell's class. Just to let you know, Mrs. Campbell's class, for those watching, there will be a few slight differences in the way that your class might be structured and then the way that I structure my class. For your assignments that you have my class today, you are going to review your science notes. So there's nothing new actually in science, but you'll just review your notes before taking a checkpoint tomorrow. And in history, we have chapter 2 that we're starting over the 13 colonies. So you're going to start learning about Jamestown specifically today and take some notes. Mrs. Campbell's class, I think you're taking notes tomorrow, but I'm having my students take notes today. And then in literature, this also might be a difference between the two classes. We're reading the first half of this chapter on the county fair. We're finally going to see if Almanzo's pumpkin, milk-fed pumpkin, is going to win a prize. And tomorrow we're going to finish the chapter. So it's a pretty long one, so I'm splitting it up into 2 parts. And you'll have some questions today and a little writing assignment with it tomorrow. Yes, Tig?
Are there rides at this country fair that you speak of?
Oh, surprisingly, no. I know most county fairs we would go to now have rides, but over 100 years ago, it was much more focused on the food. And you'll see Almanzo eat maybe more than he's ever eaten in the book so far. That's definitely more of the focus.
I'm interested.
That's right. Okay, well, let's start on some phonograms first of all, and then we'll review some words that are going to be on the quiz on Friday. Beginning with, please write the phonogram a-a-aw. A-a-aw. Okay, single letter phonogram, a-a-aw. We're going to focus on the sounds of A today. Can somebody think of another phonogram that makes the sound A? Alexander?
One of my favorites, E-A-A.
Good. E-A-A. Please write that. E-A-A. Great job, Harika. Should look like this. Hold it up when you're done. And Arianch, I can see you know another one. Can you tell us another phonogram that says the sound A?
A, 4-letter A.
Ooh, I like that one too. Please write A for letter A. A for letter A. And I see some of you writing extra phonograms that also say the A sound. Please right now just write the ones that we actually say so that it doesn't get confusing. Go ahead, Emma. What's another phonogram that says the sound A?
A that we do use at the end of English words.
Good. A, 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words. That's A, 4-letter A. Next, let's write A, 2-letter A that we do use at the end of English words. Excellent work. It looks like this. Deekshita, do you know another one?
E.
That one does not say the A sound. Can you think of another one that says A?
E-Y?
Very good. We say that phonogram, A-E, that we do use at the end of English words. A-E. Can you say that, Deekshita? Unmute yourself and say A-E.
A-E.
That we do use at the end of English words.
That we do use at the end of English words.
Perfect. And we spell it E-Y, but we say A-E. Please write that phonogram, boys and girls. A-E that we do use at the end of English words. Alina, do you know another one?
Okay, so you might think I'm going to say A-E that we did not use at the end of English words, but I'm actually going to say A-E that we did not use at the end of English words. I'm going to complete the other A.
So A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. Let's write it. Should look like this. Put it right underneath the other one. And Josiah, do you know one more that makes an A sound?
And it's a 2-letter A that we do not use at the end of English words.
Perfect. I think that's our very last one that makes the A sound. A, 2-letter A that we do not use at the end of English words, like rain, Rain from the sky, not raining over a kingdom, but like rain from the sky.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sahanasri. Hope you had a good weekend, sweetheart. We are finishing up our phonogram practice, and then we're going to start some spelling review. Can you get your whiteboard and marker out?
Okay.
Thank you. So there's A, two-letter A, that we do not use at the end of English words. Okay. First spelling review. I've got kind of a shorter list because of map testing last week. So only 26 words on the list that we're going to go over for the quiz and test. The first word to review is dispense. Would you all write dispense? Like, dispense the papers to your classmates. Dispense. Dispense. I see quite a few people doing the ENCE suffix, but actually that's not what we're going to use this time. Dispense is an action, so we're not going to use that noun suffix. Instead, we use ENSE spelling pattern, dispense. Great job for those of you who did that right the first time. And if you put a C instead of an S, just go ahead and change that right now. We do have a lot of times that ENCE spelling pattern, but this one is ENSE, dispense. I still haven't seen everybody's boards. Please hold up dispense. Let me see everybody's boards with dispense. Including Marcus and Rishith, I haven't seen your board yet this morning. Make sure you're holding it up each time. Great job, Rishith. Emma, can I see yours too? Marcus, this isn't wake up time anymore. You need to be writing when everybody else is writing. Do you see everybody else in class doing that? Can you follow along with their example? Good. Okay. So you missed dispense, Marcus, but please write the word value along with everybody else. Write value. That's our next word. So Marcus, right now, you should be writing value. We've got to speed it up so that you catch up with the class. Excellent. Alexander's using just paper since he doesn't have a whiteboard. As long as you are practicing your words, that's what's important. Great job. Value.
Your camera's off. Mommy.
Sweetheart, it looks like mine is working. Maybe it's a problem with your internet connection. Can you give me a thumbs up if you see my camera working? Okay. Yeah, sorry, Emma. It might be an internet connection issue with yours. Okay. Value. We have a silent final E, job 2, because English words do not end with U. Next, let's make it past tense. Valued. She valued the car at $10,000, or valued her opinion. Valued. We just added, but now it's part of the -ed suffix. Valued. Very good. Okay, and last one to go with this set, valuing. Valuing. Arshab, I haven't seen your board lately. Make sure that you're holding it up every single time, please. Thank you. Valuing. Valuing. Do we need our silent final E anymore? Nope. We drop it and then add our suffix ing. Josiah, you're so close, but drop that silent final E before you add the suffix. Rika, it looks like you've got 2 screens open. I'm removing one of them. Valuing. Very good. Okay, just one more word. Our last word for review is allege. This is the base of the word allegiance, like our Pledge of Allegiance. Allege. Way to go, Dikshita. That looks perfect. Allege is the word. Rishith, remember to hold yours up after each word. Allege. Simhita, I'm going to remove one of your screens. You've got 2 open as well. Excellent. Here is allege. If you didn't write it already, write it on your board. Allege is the base of that word allegiance. Allege. The j says its second sound because it's followed by a silent final E, job 3. Allege. Right, before you erase your board, let me see all of the words we did for review. You should have 5 words on your board right now. Dispense, value, valued, valuing, and allege. Great job if you got all 5 of those. And once you're done with that, you can take out your binder and get ready for our new spelling lesson. Our first word today actually goes along with a word from last week, commend. Commend is like to praise someone's good work. Now, we have a word that comes from that, and we're going to add the prefix re. And you put that together, commend and re as the prefix. What's the word? Emma?
Commendary.
We're going to put re at the beginning. Can you try that again?
Oh, recommend.
Good. And we're going to change the pronunciation slightly. Instead of recommend, it's recommend. Right, what does it mean to recommend something? Have any of you heard that before? Tig?
It means for you to. All right, say you watch a really funny movie. You want to recommend it to a friend because it was really funny and you think they enjoy it. So it's just you are giving the information to another person about something that you enjoy and you think they will enjoy.
Very good explanation. That's right. And it really does mean basically to commend or praise again, because you already thought to yourself, oh, that was great. And then to recommend means you are going to say to another person, this book or this movie was great. You're going to love it too. Kind of like what Samhita was just doing, talking about all the books that she just got at the library sale. She's basically already has been excited about it for herself, and then she's telling everybody else about it, recommending these books that she just got. Okay, so recommend, we're just going to have that word commend, which we were thinking to spell that one as commend, and then we add the prefix re in front of it. So recommend, 3 syllables. Go ahead and write it. Recommend. Since we already learned that base word commend, we're not going to spend too much time on that. Recommend. Great job. Just like Alexander, please hold it up when you're done. Great job, everyone. Hold it up when you are done. I'm seeing some binders, but not everybody's. Make sure you hold it up when you're done with recommend. Marcus, can I see yours, please? Recommend. Great job, Marcus. Thank you, everybody. Let's write recommend. Syllable break. Syllable break. D. Recommend. Could I have maybe Tig mark the word for us?
Yes. In the first syllable, it's an open syllable, and you think the E is saying its name. So thinking cap and underline. You underline and put a thinking cap above the E.
Good. We limit the markings as much as possible, so I'm actually not going to mark this one since it says an S sound, recommend. But okay. That's, Tig, that's kind of what the manual does sometimes. So I know that's another proper way to do it. I just want to limit markings as much as possible. What about the second syllable?
The second syllable, there is a silent M.
Good. How do we say the a-o-oo?
Oh.
Good. So what do we need on top?
3.
Thinking cap, actually, because it's recommend. It's unstressed. And then do we have any markings in the last syllable?
No, basic code.
That's correct. Okay, now this is a verb. It's the action of recommending something. Now, this is not one of our spelling words, but it would have been good to include recommendation because that turns it into a noun. Okay, but that's not one of our spelling words. Our next spelling word is another one with that prefix re, resemble. Can you all say resemble? Who's heard this word before? Resemble. Like maybe somebody tells you, you resemble your dad or your mom. Arshab, do you know what it means?
I think it means you look like your dad.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so if somebody were to look at you and like your brother or sister and say, oh, you guys really resemble each other, it means you look similar. And we especially use that to talk about somebody's appearance, the way they physically look. Can you all say resemble with me? Resemble. 3 syllables. The first syllable is r-e, with e in an open syllable saying its name. It's that prefix re. Second syllable, z-a-m. 3 sounds. We're using the z phonogram for that sound. Next up, b-ul. Can you all sound out that last syllable with me? B-ul. What's the problem with that? 2 sounds. B and ul. Emma?
There can't be 2 consonants, so we put a sound in front of each.
That's right. We can't have only consonant sounds in a syllable or written consonants, so we need a silent final E at the end. Great job, Emma. Pick up your pencil, please, and write resemble. And I'm going to invite Simhita back to the meeting. I don't know what's going on. He's been out of the meeting for quite a while. Resemble. Oh, and I just got a notification from Samhita a moment before I sent that. Okay, resemble. Show me your word. You should be done by now. Can I see your binders? Good. That prefix re means again. So it's basically like an appearance again, the same appearance twice. Okay, so re, syllable break, z-a-m, syllable break. Hi, Samhita. Sorry about that internet connection issue.
Actually, whenever you took me out, I lost my internet connection, and only now I could come back in.
Oh, I'm sorry. When there's double, I thought it would be no problem to just remove one of you, but I'm glad that you're back now. We did the word recommend, and now we're doing resemble. Resemble, silent final E. Alina, would you like to mark it for us?
Okay. First things first, you underline the E, then you put a 2 on top of the S, then you underline the B, the L, and double underline the E, job 4.
Perfect. Do you know what part of speech it is, Alina? If I were to say in the sentence, you resemble your mom. No? I'll have Josiah help you out. Josiah, what part of speech do you think that is?
A verb.
Perfect. That's right. Okay, boys and girls, check that yours matches mine. Resemble. And I'm actually going to keep on this paper for the third word because it goes with it. It's resemblance. We're going to turn it into a noun. Resemblance is the last syllable. So the first two syllables are exactly the same. For the last syllable, though, it's b-ol. Drop that silent final E. A-n-s. Right? That is the noun suffix with a k-s followed by silent final E. Can you all pick up your pencil and write resemblance? Resemblance. In a sentence with that one, we could say, there's a strong resemblance between the two brothers. Write resemblant and hold it up when you're done, please. Resemblance. Great job, Alexander. Great job, Arshab. Thank you so much, Tig and Alina. Everyone, please hold it up when you are done writing resemblance. That final syllable is unstressed. That's why we don't say blance. We say resemblance. Great job, Emma. It looks like we're waiting on a couple more people to finish. Sahanasri and Harika, can you hold yours up when you're done? And Marcus too. Okay, so resemblance. Uh-oh, Sahanasri accidentally left. Let's start reviewing it though. E, syllable break. Z, syllable break. B, O, A, S. Silent final E. Resemblance. Check that your spelling matches mine, and if it does not, then make corrections, please. Arianch, would you like to mark the word for us?
So you first underline the first E in the first syllable.
Perfect.
Then in the second syllable, you put a 2 on top of the S.
Great.
And in the third syllable, you thinking cap the A and
Perfect.
put a 2 on top of the C and underline it. And double underline the silent final E, job 3.
Perfect. Okay, this word is a noun, so let's put noun on the side. Great job, Arianch. Okay, check that your spelling and markings match mine. Give me a thumbs up once you're ready for me to move on to the last word. Sahanasri, were you able to finish up? Okay. Our last word for today is seize. Can you all say seize? Seize means to take something, usually with force. Like maybe when the enemy troops invaded, they seized all sorts of things from the town. That's what the Vikings did when they raided places. It's kind of like that. Seize means take, a lot of times with force. Alexander?
Yeah. I thought you were saying seize, I mean.
Yeah, seize kind of is similar to
A seize.
like raiding. It's taking something, but a lot of times with force.
Mhm.
So for the word seize, can you sound it out with me? Seize. One syllable. This is a homophone, by the way. It sounds kind of like lots of seas, you know, like there's the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea and all sorts of seas, like bodies of water. So it sounds like that, but it's spelled differently. Sees, one syllable. Sound out each of the sounds with me. S, E, Z. 3 sounds. The E sound is the phonogram. A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. A-E. That's unusual. Usually the spelling pattern is I before E except after C and when sounded as A. But this is an exception to that. Now the Z is the regular phonogram Z. And we have a silent final E, and I think it's an odd job 6, but let me double check.
Hi, Mr. Bones.
Hey, Mr. Bones.
What's up, Mr. B?
Yep, it's an odd job 6. It's not really making the vowel say its name because it's a 2-letter vowel pattern, but that's kind of what's happening. So odd job 6 at the end. Please pick up your pencil and write seize, like I'm seizing Mr. Bones. Seize. Grasping, taking, seize. Yes, Alexander?
You see some ancient pirate bones. And you name Mr. Bones.
I seized them from a pirate ship. I didn't think you knew that, Alexander. How did you find out? Seize. Show me your word. Seize.
No, you're back to it again. We got it. We got to see pictures.
Whoops.
E, Z, silent final E. Seize. Okay. For this word, check that your spelling matches mine, first of all. And then, Arsha, would you mark it for us?
Okay, so you underline the E.
We call this A-E that we do use at the,
A-E
do not use
two-letter.
at the end. Sorry,
Yes.
A-E that we do not use at the end of English words.
You underline that and
Can you say it with me? A-E
A-E
that we do not use at the end of English words.
that we do not use at the end of English words.
Yep, you got it.
And you underline the double underline the E.
Good. We're also going to put a 2 on top of this phonogram because it's saying the second sound, seize. And then, as you said, double underline the E.
And that's it.
It's going to be an odd job 6. So we'll put 6 next to it. And then that's it. Very good, Arsha. That's a tricky one, I know. Okay, this word is a verb. Lots of verbs in the lesson. And that's all for our spelling. Let's write them in cursive at the bottom. Recommend, resemble, resemblance, and sees. That's a good practice of the z. I'll write that both ways. Remember, our way of writing a Z is a little different than I make it curvier at the top, and you're welcome to do that because that kind of matches the capital one. But technically, it's supposed to be that. With the point at the top. Okay, so either one of those. Please write all 4 words in cursive, and then, since it's Monday, we're going to learn a new idiom. Great job, Alina. Everyone, please hold up the 4 words in cursive as soon as you finish. Great job, Tig and Aryansh. Josiah. Great job, Arshab. Marcus, are you writing your words in cursive? I know it's not your favorite, but we're just writing these 4 words. That's it. Marcus, we've got to do this. Okay. Hold yours up again, boys and girls, when you are finished. Looks like some people are still writing, but if you're done, can you hold yours up? Great, looks like, again, Arshab, Tig, Alexander, and Aryansh are finished. Great job, Dikshita. Oh, that looks beautiful, Dikshita. You have such great cursive. Thank you, Sahanasri. Yours looks beautiful too. Thank you, Harika. That looks good. Okay, that should be about enough time for everybody to do their words in cursive. If you are still taking quite a long time to do your cursive words, I'd recommend maybe practicing it outside of class once or twice a day. You can just write, a sentence or 2 in cursive, or just have some extra practice of maybe the spelling words from that day. That would be good spelling practice and also good cursive practice. So if that's still taking you a while to do just 4 words in cursive, then you probably need to do extra practice. Rishith, did you finish up? It looks like you're not writing anything. Can I see your words, please? We are also going to write our idiom in cursive. We've got a new idiom today that actually was in Farmer Boy recently. And the idiom is, a miss is as good as a mile. Do any of you remember that from Farmer Boy last week, Ariansh? Do you remember when they used that, kind of what context it was in?
They used it in when they almost had all of the food, like the potatoes, almost covered in the snow. And I know what that means.
Right. Good. Okay, tell us what it means as well.
It means even if you miss a lot or if you miss a little, it's still as good. It's just a loss. You lose all the hard work that you put into making it.
That's exactly right. So if you're on a soccer team that almost won, but then you lost at the last minute, sadly, that's still just a loss. A miss is as good as a mile. You can be proud of yourself for being so close, but it's still a loss whether you got 0 points or quite a lot. And it's also kind of the flip side of if you win something, even if you just barely win, or if you demolish it and you just get a ton of points, for example, thinking of sports, that win is just a win regardless of how much it is by. But according to Father, they technically won because they got all the potatoes out of the ground before the snow, but he said that's too close for me because he would rather not cut it so close and getting the potatoes out of the ground. It almost snowed on the potatoes and they lost some. Tag?
This has to do with sports, but virtual sports. So my mom, she has a whole bunch of games on her iPad, and one of them is this basketball game, and it's kind of hard, so you don't score nearly as many points as a real one. But one time I played it, and I demolished the other team by 14 points.
Wow. Yeah, so basically that's not any better than winning by 1 point, but it does make you feel better. It's good for yourself, for your feeling of, oh, I really, really won that time.
And I'm so good at that game that I've only lost 2 games.
Wow. That sounds very fun. Okay, well, boys and girls, the idiom is, a miss is as good as a mile. Would you please say that? A miss is as good as a mile. Rishith, would you unmute yourself and say it to us?
A miss is good as a mile.
Good. A miss is as good as a mile. Pick up your pencil and please write that in cursive. A miss is as good as a mile. Then I'll show you my paper. Arshab, can you start writing? Great job, Sahanasri. Marcus, can you start writing? A miss is as good as a mile. Can you unmute yourself to say it back to me first?
A miss is a mile.
Almost. A miss is as good as a mile. Okay, so everyone write it in cursive.
Wait, what was it? A miss?
A miss is as good as a mile. Basically, even if you barely lose, it's still a loss, almost like if it was a mile-long difference in a race, for example. If you're a mile behind somebody else in a race, it's still the same sort of loss as if you're just an inch behind the other person. But you feel better about yourself when you're close to the other team. Okay, since this is a specific phrase or saying, we're going to put it in quotation marks. If you didn't do that, you can just add it to the beginning. A miss is as good as a mile. A miss is as good as a mile. Can you hold yours up so I can see it when you finish? Excellent. Boys and girls, we are next going to move into a little bit of well-ordered language time, but we're going to do some review outside of your workbook. So you'll just keep your binder open actually for well-ordered language time. We're just going to spend some time reviewing for a test that you'll actually take tomorrow over compound subjects. Compound subjects really are marked no differently than other sentences we've done. The only thing that's new is your conjunction. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? How do we mark our conjunctions? You remember? Dikshita?
Like wings?
That's right, like little wings. Or like greater than, less than symbols. You could think of it. So, for example, over here, and wings around it. And then you've got your two subjects on either side. But we mark them just with an S and underlined like any other subject. Okay, so let's, and Miss Campbell's class, for those watching, I think that what Mrs. Campbell did was have you do your review on Friday instead, and then you're just going over the answers today. So hopefully this will still be helpful for you, but it's a little bit of a different setup than mine. All right, let's go over our review. Okay. Thumbs up if you can see my page. Okay, we've got a word bank at the top, and we're going to fill in the blanks with words from the word bank. I'll have you go ahead and write on your notebook paper in the binder just the word that will go in the blank, okay? If you'd like to write the rest, you can, but you only need to write the word that's going to go in the blank. Okay, and let me actually make a copy because I'm going to fill this in with you. Uh-oh. Okay, copy. Okay, never mind. I'm going to just fill it in, but then I guess I'll delete it later. Okay, let me try one more time. I don't know why it keeps having errors. Okay. So we're going to be filling in the blanks. And For the most part, these are just words from the jingles reviewing parts of speech. Now, what is the word that's used in place of a noun or nouns? Number 1. And you'll be writing the answer on your notebook paper. So, number 1, just writing what is used in place of a noun or nouns. Who knows what that one is? Which word from the word bank tells us something that's used in place of a noun or nouns? Sampita?
A pronoun.
Good. A pronoun is a part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. Pronoun. We're not going to be filling in much of the line, so I'm just going to write the next one next to it, just in order like this. Number 2, could somebody read it and then tell us what part of speech does that tell? What does that describe? Alexander?
A noun, clause, or phrase to which the pronoun refers. So yeah. Wait.
Is a noun, clause, or phrase?
Is it a helping verb?
No, good guess. I think Dikshita knows it.
An antecedent.
Dang it.
Great job. The antecedent is the noun, clause, or phrase to which the pronoun refers. So it's the word that the pronoun is taking the place of. Okay, I'll go ahead and write these in this, and then I'm also writing it on the notebook paper. What about number 3? An objective element that tells what the subject is acting on. Objective should be a key word to help you there. Objective. What is that? That tells what the subject is acting on. Aryansh?
It has to be a direct object because that's literally the only thing that has 2 words.
Good point. That's a good process of elimination. Direct object right here is the only one with 2 words. That's a good point.
Actually,
Now, some
helping
of
verb
them
is
are having
2
a hard
words.
time, I would say, distinguishing between direct object and object of the preposition. If that's the case for you, I want to go through something I don't think I've talked about with you guys before that I think will be helpful. Okay, let's take a look at this sentence 17. You're going to do these actually on your own after class today, but let's take a look at this one. Are you and mom getting the crickets for the geckos? Now, we've got a direct object in this sentence, and there's also an object of the preposition. Now, to figure out the direct object, we need to see who or what to go along with the verb. So, first of all, what's the predicate verb in this sentence? Alina?
Getting.
Getting, good. And our subjects, you and mom. Are is a helping verb. So basically it's saying you and mom are getting what? What are they getting? Dikshita?
Crickets.
Good. They're getting crickets. That's your direct object. They're not getting geckos. Over here, let's take a look at this one too. It says, on Thursday, the dog and cat slept together on the couch. Now, I've seen recently some people mark like couch maybe as the direct object. But does it make sense to say dog and cat slept couch? That's receiving the action. They slept couch. No. It's an object of the preposition instead. Alexander?
The direct object is together.
Oh, good question about that one. Actually, this is an adverb. It's telling how they slept. So there's actually no direct object at all. But I do understand if you thought that was a direct object. That's a little bit of a tricky one. Okay, but try to make it a little mini sentence if you're not sure. Like teacher and students practiced letters. Does that make sense as a mini sentence? Teacher and students practice letters? Yeah, that's what they practiced. But mom and kids pulled garden? That does not make sense as a mini sentence. So that can tell you garden is not the direct object there. They didn't pull garden. Okay, let's go back up to the top. And what we're going to finish up right here is 5 through 11. Let's go through those. Sorry, 4 through 11. We didn't do number 4 yet. Which one answers the questions? How many? Whose? Which one? What kind? Sahanasri, what part of speech is that?
Adjective or adverb?
No, adjective. You were right the first time.
Okay.
An adjective is a part of speech used to describe or define the meaning of a noun or a pronoun. It answers the questions. Here they are. How many? Whose? Which one? What kind? Now, which one modifies a verb, adverb, or adjective? Mainly a verb. And it answers the questions how, when, or where. Which one is that? Emma?
Adverb.
Adverb. Very good. An adverb modifies a verb. Which one helps the verb? Helps the verb. Rishith, which one is that? It helps the verb. Rishith, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself and tell us which one helps the verb?
Adverb.
No? It basically comes alongside the verb, like you are getting a gecko. Are getting. What is are doing there? Look at that word bank.
Helping verb.
Perfect. Helping verb. Number 6, helping verb. Aryansh, would you help with number 7? It's a person, place, or thing.
A noun.
Good, a noun. Tig, what about number 8? A phrase that has a preposition and an object of the preposition. It modifies a verb. Which one from up here?
Could you zoom in, please? Have you already used adverb?
We have. Now look at this. It says a phrase that has a preposition and an object of the preposition. It modifies a verb. Now it's acting like an adverb, but it's a phrase. Which one of these would be a phrase with a preposition and an object of the preposition?
It would be all All right, I'll let Emma do it. I can't think of it.
Oh, okay. Emma, help him out.
Adverbial prepositional phrases.
You got it.
That was the
That's
only
it.
one with
Adverbial
three.
prepositional phrase. What'd you say, sweetheart?
That was the only one with 3 words.
It is the only one with 3 words. That's another good test-taking strategy to eliminate that way. Okay, since you weren't able to get that last one, can you do the next one, Tig? Joins elements of the same rank or name. A blank is a part of speech. It joins elements of the same rank or name. When
Can I look
two
at the options?
a da 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 is a part of speech. It joins elements of the same rank or name.
Conjunction.
Yes, conjunction.
Miss Gardner, I have the captions on, and when I said conjunction, it read it as Uncle Conjunction.
Okay, Alexander, help out with number 10, please. 2
I'm
or
pretty
more.
I'm pretty
Of
sure
the-
that's compound.
Good, compound. And Harika, can you help with the last one? Or did she end up leaving because of feeling sick? Oh, yep, she did. Okay, let's have Marcus help with number 11. Which one is used to show the relationship between certain words in a sentence? I'll give you a hint. It's part of a prepositional phrase. Marcus, which one?
Preposition.
You got it. The preposition is the one to show the relationship between certain words in a sentence. Like a board,
I
the
was
ship.
wondering if it was the preposition or object of the preposition. Object of the preposition or preposition.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be one of those two. And you chose the right one. Preposition. Used to show the relationship between certain words in a sentence. Okay, that is all we're going to do for our review. After class today, you're going to analyze these sentences just on paper in your binder. Mrs. Campbell's class, I think you've already done this, so you don't need to do that part. Okay, boys and girls, at this time, we're going to take out orthography notebooks. Can you take your notebook out, please? And we'll just quickly write down our words from today's lesson and do a little bit of sorting. No roots for today, boys and girls. I'll be posting some things separately for you to do. And for Mrs. Campbell's class watching this, our route setup, I think, is a little different than yours. We do a little bit each day rather than a ton on one day and then review. Okay, so for orthography time, let me see your notebooks. I'm trying to find my notebook. I think I set it over here. Yep. Here we go. Looks like we're on lesson 95, page 61, almost to lesson 100. We're going to start by writing the word recommend. Would you all please write recommend? Marcus, are you open to page 61? That's what page we are on right now. recommend. Just a thinking cap and a double underline there. Next is resemble. Resemble. Then you'll write resemblance. We say resemblance, but we think to spell resemblance. Then we'll bracket those two since they're from the same base word. And the last one was seize. The pirates seized the treasure from the ship. Seize. And that's actually the only one we're going to sort today, seize. We're going to put it in that page where we have the I-E-E-I spelling pattern. It should be page, just a moment. Maybe one of you can find it before me. I'm almost there. Can somebody beat me? Page Aryansh? 8, you got it. Okay, now the word seize is going to go in which column? Is it I-E says E, E-I says E after C, E-I says A, or the E-I exceptions? It's actually going to be the 4th column here, the exceptions, because seize does not say an A sound, and it's not after the letter C. It's one of those exceptions like leisure. Seize. So we're going to put that in the last column, exceptions column. And that's all for literacy today. As soon as you're done with that, we're going to take out our math notebooks. It is fraction time. If you have your fraction strips, you can take them out now. It may be helpful for you to have it next to you for today's lesson. Today, we're going to continue learning about equivalent fractions, which we started doing on Friday. Do you guys remember what equivalent fractions are? What does that mean? And you can give an example of it. Your fraction strips would give some good examples. Arshab?
I don't know how to explain it, but I can give an example.
Okay, I'd love to hear the example.
1/2 is equal to 4/8.
Excellent example. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Basically, equivalent means equal to. Two fractions of the same value. If you have your fraction strips handy, can you see if you can make two fractions that are equivalent? Maybe you can start off with 1/2 and then find another group of fractions that would be equal to 1/2. How many of you have your little baggie with your fraction strips? Or if you haven't cut them up, maybe you have the page and you can just find other fractions that are equivalent. Dikshita, can you look for those fraction strips? Do you have them? Okay, can anybody tell me another set of fractions, or sorry, another fraction that's equal to 1/2? Arshab said 4/8. Alexander, what's another one?
2/4.
Great, 2/4. Does anybody see another fraction that's equivalent or equal to 1/2? Ariansh?
6/12.
Ooh, good one. 6/12. Okay, great examples so far. You can put your fraction strips away for now, but it could be helpful for later in class and also definitely for your homework today. So you'll definitely keep using those fraction strips. Now, on Friday, we talked about finding equivalent fractions, basically by just looking at them being the same. But we also talked about using multiplication, like this. By multiplying the same number for the numerator and denominator, we find the equivalent fraction. That's the specific strategy we're going to focus on today. That's going to be actually much more helpful for you moving forward as well, like when you get to 4th grade fractions. Okay, this Learn It section says 2/3, 4/6, 6/9, and 8/12 are all equal to each other. You all see that? 2/3, 4/6, 6/9, and 8/12 are all equal. Now we can visually see that because they all end at the same place. But this little girl says, I know another way to find an equivalent fraction. Multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Now, if you multiply a numerator by 2 and denominator by 2, you'd get, for this one, 4/6, which is equivalent to 2/3. Basically, we have twice as many parts and twice as many groups. So it's actually equivalent. They're equal. Over here, we're going to multiply by 3 instead. And we get another equivalent fraction, 6/9, because we have 3 times as many parts and 3 times as much of a whole amount. So we know that fractions are equal parts of a whole. This is 3 times as many parts and 3 times as much for the whole. This is 2 times as much. Now, for the last one, we would multiply the numerator and denominator of 2/3 by blank to get 8/12. What would you need to multiply by to get 8/12? Instead of 2/3 times 2 equals 4, 2 times blank equals 8. And 3 times blank equals 12. What number goes in the blank? I think some people need to review their multiplication facts. 2 times what number equals 8? It should be the same for 3 times this same number equals 12. What is the number, Josiah?
4.
You got it, 4. So we would multiply 2 times 4 to equal 8 and 3 times 4 to equal 12. Okay, let's put that into practice over here, and we're going to do part of this in our notebook as well. All right, now we've got here 1/7, and then 2 and 3 here. Let's actually start this immediately in our notebooks. We're going to do this in our notebook instead. Please write your name and date at the top. Today's date is April 12th. Math lesson, I think we're on 14.3. Yep. Math lesson 14.3. So for number 1, let's start by drawing a bar with 7 parts. So I'm going to draw 6 lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. This is the fraction 1/7 of the whole. 1/7. Now we could find a ton of different equivalent fractions to 1/7 by just multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number. 1/7, and we're going to do the same kind of arrows up and arrows down to show this, is equal to let's start off with times 2. If we multiply the numerator and denominator both by 2, what is our new equivalent fraction? Can somebody tell me what a fraction would be if we're multiplying 1 times 2 for the numerator and 7 times 2 for the denominator? What would it end up being? What's our new equivalent fraction? Preeti, can you think of that one for us?
Wait, what's the question again?
Multiply the numerator 1 times 2. And what do you get?
2.
2. Good. And now multiply the denominator, which is 7 times 2. And what do you get?
14.
Excellent. So how do we read this new equivalent fraction? These are equivalent.
2, 2.
I'll have Alexander help you out with the pronunciation of it. But this is correct, Kruthi.
I feel like it's kind of a distraction, but it's 2/14.
2/14. That's right. For almost all of them, you just add that TH at the end. So Kruthi, can you try saying that again? 2/14.
2/14.
Good. Which means out of 14 parts of the whole, there's 2 of them. Now let's do the same thing, but we're going to multiply by 3 to find another equivalent fraction. I want you to do that on your own, boys and girls. Just like we did for 1/7 and finding 2/14, multiply by 3 this time. And find the new equivalent fraction. I should see everybody writing. If you're not writing, maybe you're done. And if you are done, can you hold yours up so I can see it? I'll have everybody hold theirs up when they're done. Very good. So I should see your head down writing or holding up your work. Thank you, Aryansh and Tig. Thank you, Alexander and Dikshita. Marcus, you are so good at math. You can finish this in no time at all, but I need you to actually do the work, okay, bud? We're finding a fraction equivalent to 1/7 by multiplying the numerator and denominator by 3. Great job. Alexander went the extra mile of showing in like a picture form of what these fractions look like, the equivalent fractions. Okay, let's go over the answer. Sahanasri, what was the equivalent fraction that you found?
3/21.
Good. 3/21 is the way we'd say that, since we say first for the number 1. Excellent job. How many got the same answer as Sahanasri? Very good. So she multiplied 1 times 3 and 7 times 3. Okay, now that is how we find equivalent fractions with division. We can also find equivalent fractions the opposite way. What if we start off with, for example, 6/12, and we want to find a smaller equivalent fraction? This is what we call finding simplest form. Have any of you heard that before? Or reducing a fraction? You might have heard that before as well. That's what's happening here. We're reducing the fraction, or said another way, finding its simplest form. And it works in the same way, but we're going to divide this time. This is very helpful for finding the easiest way of representing a fraction. And here's a little hint. If there is an even number on top and bottom, you can always make it even simpler because you'll be able to divide any of those by 2. So if you divide 6/12 by 2, you can find some equivalent fractions. Look at this. 6/12, if you divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, you'd find 3/6. Now you can also divide both of them by 3. If you divide 6 by 3, you get 2. If you divide 12 by 3, you get 4. Let's see it again, because it's actually not even simplest form yet. We can keep dividing into smaller numbers. 2 divided by 2 equals 1, and 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Now, 1/2 is the simplest form because you can't divide 1 any more times. 1 is already the smallest it can be. Now, this does not always work. There are some fractions that can't get any smaller, like 3/4. Can you divide 3 evenly into 2 parts? No. Or if we had 5/6, we can't divide 5 into 2 groups or 3 groups. So that's actually the simplest form. Both of these are already in their simplest form. But we're specifically going to be working on ones that we can reduce down by dividing. All right, let's practice this in our notebook now. So instead of multiplying, we're going to be practicing dividing our fractions. Okay, so for number 2, let's write 4/12. And we're going to divide both of these by 2. And let's find the new fraction. Okay, I want you to try that on your own, boys and girls. Divide 4 by 2 to find the new numerator. Divide 12 by 2 to find the new denominator. Ariansh?
Do we have to use the arrows?
You know, for just this one time in our notes, I would like you to do that. Even if you can do it faster in your head. I want to have one example of this because that's the way it is in your textbook and workbook.
I was thinking we could just simply put the divide sign and then the number next to it without having the arrows.
That's a good thought. I'm going to go ahead and keep the arrows like this just because it matches the same format that you'll see with your textbook and workbook. But that is a good thought. And after we do the notes all together, you could start doing it that way instead. Who found the equivalent fraction by dividing your numerator and denominator by 2? Who's done with that? Okay. Arshad, could you share your answer?
4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 12 divided by 2 equals 6, so 2/6.
Excellent job, Arshad. Okay, let's do another one. Also, reducing 4/12 or finding the equivalent fraction. We're going to divide by 4 this time. And we'll talk about this more later, but a good way of reducing down your fraction is to start by thinking, can I divide both of these by my numerator? So I look at my numerator, I see, oh, I've got a 4. I can definitely divide 4 by 4 because I'll get the answer of 1. Can I also divide my denominator by 4? Can I divide 12 by 4? Yeah. We'll use the term, is it divisible by 4? Divisible means, can I divide it evenly? Does 12 divide evenly into 4 groups? And yes, it does. That's one of our division facts. Give me a thumbs up once you're done with this one, finding a fraction equivalent to 4/12. Okay, Alina, could you share your answer?
Okay. So I got 1/3.
1/3. Good. Who got the same thing as Alina? Excellent. And since we have a 1 as our numerator, that's telling us it's the simplest we can get. That is simplest form of the fraction because we can't go any lower than 1 for our fraction. That's the lowest we can go. Let's write that at the bottom. 1/3. We're going to call it is simplest form. Okay, you'll see that in your textbook and workbook throughout this unit. And I also want to give the explanation. Let's put this part in parentheses. Because 1 is the numerator. Right? Once you have 1 as a numerator, you know that's the simplest form because it can't be reduced anymore.
Ms. Garner, can you put the notebook a little bit down? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, how are you guys feeling about this? Okay. We'll be putting this into practice with some other units throughout the rest of the week. But we're just doing the basics of reducing these fractions with division or getting to larger numbers with multiplication to find equivalent fractions. You have to always, always, always multiply on top and bottom, multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, or divide both by the same number. That's the only way it will work with equivalent fractions if it's the same number and you do it for both the numerator and denominator. Kruti? And then I'll get to Sampita.
Like, how do you know, how do you know that you're supposed to, like, multiply 4 multiplied by 2? How do you know you're supposed
Excellent question. Now, for today's lesson, you're going to always be told what to multiply or divide by. But moving forward, basically, we're going to get to lessons where like we need to maybe compare two numbers. So if we are trying to compare something with 14ths, we know we need to multiply 7 times 2 to get to 14th so that it's like fractions that we can compare. Or we would start to divide to make it smaller. And I'll tell you about this later as well, but the first thing that you should do to make it simpler for you is see the numerator. Like in this one, 4/12. And ask yourself, can I divide the denominator by this same number? Is 12 divisible by 4? And if it is, you know that 4 divided by 4, that's going to equal 1, and that's going to get you to simplest form. So that's the first thing to do is see, can I divide by this number? If you can't divide by this number, then just try to divide by 2. That's another good strategy. If you have even numbers for the numerator and denominator, you can just keep dividing by 2 until you get to the simplest form. But that's going to be more clear in the next lessons. For right now, in today's class, you're always going to be told what to multiply or divide by. Let's take a look at the workbook and then simply go ahead. Oh, yes, sweetheart.
I checked today's pages before we started the class, and I think one of the pages has like one of well, you had to it's not show what you had to multiply.
Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, I'm seeing this. So take a look at page 98, boys and girls. We'll go over a couple examples of this and then of the other page. Now, on page 98, number 6, we've got like a 6 here and a 12 here. So 6 times what equals 12? 6 times what number equals 12? Ariansh?
6 times 2 equals 12.
Good. And no need to ask yourself about dividing because it's obviously not going to be dividing to get to a smaller number. Okay, now if you know 6 times 2 equals 12, you know we're going to multiply by 2 for the numerator as well. And 1 times 2 equals 2. Okay, you'll do that for all of these. Like 1 times what equals 2? 1 times what number equals 2? 2 again. That means we're going to multiply 7 times 2. And 7 times 2 equals, that's right, 14. Okay, so that's what you'll do for these. Page 99 is going to be division. In the same way, you'll ask yourself 6 divided by what equals 1? 6 divided by what equals 1? Who can tell me? Alexander?
Um, 6 divided by 3 plus 3 equals 6. 6?
Good. Any number divided by itself equals 1. Okay, so if you ever see an answer of 1, you know you're going to divide the number by itself. And if that's the case, you know you're also going to divide the denominator by 6. What's 12 divided by 6?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 6.
12 divided into 6 groups. 6 times what equals 12?
2.
Good, 2. Okay, now this last page. It's going to be kind of similar at the top, and this is the one that's a little bit trickier possibly. I want you to start by thinking, can I divide my numerator by itself? Can I divide 4 by 4 and 12 by 4? Can I do that? Is 12 divisible by 4? Yes, 12 divided by 4 equals 3. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Any number divided by itself equals 1. Some of these you can't do that with though. Like this, 6 and 9. Can I divide 9 by 6? No. I also can't divide these by 2 because you can't divide an odd number by 2. But can you think of another number that I can divide both of these by? Can you think of a number that 6 gets divided into and 9 gets divided into? Dikshita?
3.
Good, 3. Okay, and if you ever see 2 even numbers like 8 and 10, you know they can divide by 2 because every even number can divide by 2. Does that make sense? Okay, this is the very first day of it, so if you've got some questions, it's okay. Ask your parents for some help, and then we'll go over answers tomorrow as well. Okay, boys and girls, your pages are posted in Bright Thinker for today. I hope that helps you. It might be something that you'll have to ask your parents for help on. This is the hardest part of the fraction unit so far, I would say. But hopefully going through those examples will help you a lot. We'll get to more of that tomorrow as well. Okay, we are going to start some reading groups at this time. So if there's no other questions, I will see you guys tomorrow. I see Samhita has one. Go ahead and stay on, sweetheart. Bye, everybody. Thanks for a great class today.
Bye.